Okay, I know it's kind of hard to read on this particular sheet right here, but we're going to star the colors that we have in our drawer, so you just kind of recognize what we've got compared to what we don't have as far as your colors. So what this is, guys, this is a color mixing guide or grid or matrix. So the way that this works is on the very left-hand side, you have all of your colors and they kind of ranged from yellow to black. And then down the bottom, you have the same exact arrangement, yellow to black. And so what this color chart shows you, this is your own personal one that you can use, and I even posted one up on the wall over by where we have our paints. So the way that this works is it's kind of a grid, in that you can find what colors make what if you follow your grid. So for example, if we look at, let's say alizarin crimson, okay, on the left-hand side. So everybody find your alizarin crimson on the left-hand side. And then find your, let's say, cerulean blue on the bottom. Okay. Now, you don't need to make any like permanent marker marks right now, but if you go up, so here we go, you can kind of see me where I'm doing this. So I've got my left-hand finger on my alizarin crimson, and I've got my pen kind of pointing at my cerulean blue. So if I go up with my cerulean blue, and then I go over with my alizarin crimson finger, and I hit this box, and that's my color that makes. Okay, so does everyone understand how to use this matrix? Okay, so you can even look at this, just say like, oh, that's a nice green, or that's a nice teal. I really like that color. So what is that? What color is that? So you've got one base where it's ultra marine blue, and your green is phthalo green. Okay, so you can use it either way, where you know your bases that you're going to mix and then you find what color, or you find the color that you like and then you figure out what the bases are. Okay, so I'm going to tell you which ones to star. All right, so we've got ivory black, so star that one. We have raw umber and burnt umber, so star both of those. We have raw sienna, star that one. We have a permanent green light. Okay. We have the phthalo green. We technically have this cobalt turquoise, but I put an arrow out and I renamed it because our actual name of it's lake blue. But it's very, very, very similar in color. Okay, so lake blue is the name of our paint that matches that color. Okay, we have the cerulean blue. Then we jump down, we have the ultramarine blue. We have the dioxazine purple. We've got alizarin crimson, quinacridone red, and ours is actually quinacridone magenta. And then we're going to have the cadmium red light. We have that, but our name is like permanent red. Permanent red. Okay. We have yellow ochre. And then we have the cadmium yellow light, but our name is primary yellow. Okay, so that's all the colors that we currently have in stock. I do technically have an orange, but it is like hunter's vest orange. And I'm not a fan of it, so we don't really use it because it has the label of cadmium orange, but it does not look like that orange on there. Okay, so that's how you use this color mixing guide, and I'll expect you to kind of use this for yourself, even though we're going to be doing some color mixing together. Okay, go ahead and flip this over. Okay, so this little nice handy dandy, I wanted to give this to you so that it can kind of break down your colors and how you can check that out. So if we look over here in this little box thing, we've got red, yellow, and blue. So red, yellow, and blue, those are our primary colors. And I'll be kind of running through a little bit of color theory here quickly via some slides just in a little bit. So set of primary colors in subtractive color mixing system, which means that they're most commonly used in art, design, and painting. So in art and design painting, red, yellow, and blue are very, very base colors. In digital, it's red, blue, and green, if you're looking at digital screens. And then in print-wise, like ink-wise, you change to cyan, magenta, and yellow. Okay? So red, yellow, blue became the foundation of color for vision theories as the fundamental sensory qualities that are blended in the perception of all physical colors and equally in the physical mixture of pigments or dye. So what this is trying to say here in so many tons of fancy words is that you can make all other colors from red, yellow, and blue. All right, and we should know that from our foundations. You can combine them all, like this shows here. If you combine all the colors together, you could technically get black. All right, so that's what this is kind of here. You've got your largest pyramid that has your primaries. Your second smaller inverted pyramid are your secondaries, and notice that they also line up. Red and yellow gives you orange, red and blue gives you violet, which here it kind of looks a little more magenta-y. Yellow and blue gives you green. So the way that they even laid this out shows you if you were to mix the two colors next to each other, that gives you their additional colors. So you got your primaries, your secondaries, and your tertiaries. Okay? Down here, if you were to look at getting equal amounts, and if you look at creating like brown tones from your secondary colors, that gives it right here really nice. So like orange and violet, that'll give you a nice just kind of plain brown. Orange and green gives you an olive base, and then purple and green will give you kind of a slate. Okay, so and then same here. The here is showing you can get tertiary browns, and here you can get quaternary browns if you mix your tertiaries together. Okay, so you can keep going on and on and on. You've got some real quick color addition adding over here. So notice that they do it in 3 parts, and sometimes you have more of one color than another. So that is a big deal on color mixing, is that it's not necessarily equal parts every time. Sometimes you have to have more of one color than the other to get the correct colors. Okay, they talk about tints down here, tones and shades, and then you've got your color spectrum, which that just kind of is basing on intensity and wavelength. Okay, so that's what those mean. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side, and I want you to go ahead and put your palette paper in front of you. Mine already has paint on it, but I'm going to show you how to label it out. So I'm going to back it up. And then you all are going to label it right now all together. And then as I'm going through the color theory presentation, like 2 of you at a time can come up and then give yourself the paints that you need, so that by the time that we're ready to paint, everybody will have their paint. Okay, so over on the very left-hand corner, on your, like right above your folding line, I want you to put permanent red, and you're going to leave yourself a space to put a nice glob of paint. Then it's alizarin crimson, then quinacridone magenta. Okay, so above the fold line, on the very left-hand side, you go permanent red, leave yourself space for a large amount of paint. And it's on the waxy side. Waxy side. So permanent red, alizarin crimson above that, quinacridone magenta. Okay? When you get your paint for your other colors, you're going to get very tiny amounts, like the size of a pea. And you're going to place the paint itself on your actual fold line so that when we get done today and we go and fold it up, it's not going to get in like multiple places on your palette. It's just going to stay on that line. Now that's not going to be true for the red. Okay? So you've got your permanent red, alizarin crimson, quinacridone magenta. So then you're going to be writing these, give yourself some space, and you're going to be writing them underneath your fold line. And I'd write small. Okay, so your first one is primary yellow. So I know my handwriting's terrible. Primary yellow. Next one is yellow ochre. Next one is lake blue. Then you've got ultramarine. Then cerulean. And I'll pause and go over them again. So you've got all your three reds. So if you are guessing, we're going to be starting with our red bases. So all three reds, permanent red, alizarin crimson, quinacridone, magenta on the left-hand side. Then underneath the fold line, we're not going necessarily in rainbow order, but so primary yellow, yellow ochre, lake blue, ultramarine, cerulean, dioxine purple, and you guys could just put purple down if you want, because that's the only one we have. Then you've got grass green, then phthalo green. To spell phthalo, it's PHTHALO, and I put ... because I actually abbreviated the word. So phthalo green. And then here I just put the next one, green light ... because I think it's green light permanent, or light green permanent, something like that. Okay, then you've got raw sienna, burnt umber, white, and black. Okay. Okay, so as I start going to the color theory, I'll leave this up here. I'll try to, let's see, it's zoomed out as far as it can go. I'll leave this up there for you to finish. So while I'm going through color theory, we'll just do 2 to 3 people at a time getting paints. And Maya and Addie, why don't we start with you two? We'll make it easier. And I think it'll be easier. I was trying to keep the paints over there by the drawer, but if we take it over to that table, I think it'll be a lot easier, don't you? Okay. So I'll help you to move the paints over, and then you two can start. Okay, so we'll be setting up the paints over here, and so like I said, I bet 2 or 3 people at a time could set up their paint palette. And then as far as the phthalo green, there's phthalo or there's turquoise green, and they both work. You can use either one interchangeably. And then white and black. Okay. So however you want to start. Okay, so I'm going to talk about color theory here, and then once there's an open spot, and I bet even a third person. So Jalen, how about you be the third person to start us off? And then you can like set up here or there, either way. And then, so when you get your reds, you want kind of larger amount, like quarter size for your reds, and then all of your other colors like the size of a pea. We're gonna start kind of really looking at like size proportion.